And ready to go for tonight's Dirt Track Speedway, episode number 3 here tonight. So what's coming up for tonight's racing action here at Dirt Track Speedway? Well, we're going to be talking about, in heat races, some of the top wins, some fun wins, some cool wins that I saw over the weekend. Also, our main event tonight, more than one photo finish took place, and I wanted to make sure we pointed out and share some of those as well. And my victory lane speech tonight is, it will never happen to me. Then again, it might actually happen to you. So be prepared for that. Let's get ready to go for tonight's edition of Dirt Track Speedway, presented by Fast Shafts. For those just tuning in, appreciate the patience, as it will be a bit of a rough track tonight. Did have a storm roll through. Actually had to power down the equipment for an all while, and then a tree fell down in between my house and the neighbor's yard, so we had to deal with that a little bit as well. So that kind of affected my ability to prep things out for tonight. But thank you for tuning in for tonight's action of Dirt Track Speedway. So our heat race actions for tonight. Wanted to talk about some of the wins that I saw this past weekend that were kind of momentous. The first one for tonight I want to talk about is Daryl DeFrance, who's been the Iron Man of the IMCA Deere Brothers Summer Series, competing in his 473rd event this past weekend at the Quad City Speedway, and led the thing 40 laps start to finish, but Jesse sobbing made him earn it as he finished a half car length, I guess it was a full car length back. And the last time that Daryl was in the Deere Brothers victory lane was April 2012, so congratulations to Double D on the win, and thank you to Chris Dimitz for Chris Dimitz Photography for allowing me to use this photo there. Chris does a great job, travels all around, and I appreciate him letting me use that photo. Another key win in the IMCA late model division, Ben Seaman at the Independence Motor Speedway grabbed his first career ever IMCA late model feature win at the Independence Motor Speedway. And it was actually at his home track, so that was very cool. And this picture from the Independence Motor Speedway's Facebook page. Now, I don't know if last week's victory lane, where I talked about scoring the perfect race, has anything to do with this picture here, but I thought it was very cute. Cindy Hersey gave me permission to post this. This is two sweet gals. Elena, 8, she's the one on the left, and then Ray, she's 2 on the right. They were scoring races this past weekend, and I absolutely loved it. And looking at the score sheets, her writing is a lot better than my writing, that's for sure. I stumbled onto this probably a bit late for the Western drivers, and I apologize for that, but Western Iowa Racing Results on Facebook does a great job promoting racing over on the west side of the state. And they're actually doing the second annual Western Iowa Challenge. It's a point fun, and they're doing it again this year. Now, the deadline to enter is already passed, unfortunately, so I apologize for finding it too late to try to share with you, but it is very cool. Remember it for next year. They've already secured 28 sponsors to help out with the point fun for drivers in the western half of the state. And if you want more details about it or follow along with the points, you can search on Facebook, Western Iowa Racing Results. But here was probably the coolest win I saw over the weekend. This young fan at the Independence Motor Speedway had the desire to meet and shake the hand of the local flagman, Wes White. And in between races, Wes climbed down real quick, shook the hand of this young driver. I thought that was the coolest thing in the world, and I absolutely loved that. And thank you to Tabitha, his wife, for letting me share that as well. And that is our heat race section for tonight with Dirt Track Speedway, presented by Fast Shafts. Aerial coverage tonight is being brought to you by Wayne's Towing and Flatbeds. When your vehicle's broke down and you're stuck on the side of the road, just shout out WTF. Wayne's Towing and Flatbeds is the official wrecker crew of Artifice Speedway. Our aerial coverage of Dirt Track Speedway here, that's Artifice Speedway in the background, showing our sports cars under a caution. Some new exciting things are coming. We just secured a construction permit for a new grandstand. As you can see it there, we're going to have new grandstands coming. There's even talk about adding another class to the Speedway as well, and scales that are going to be added for weighing of the cars. And aerial coverage, again, brought to you by Wayne's Towing and Flatbeds, the official wrecker crew of Artifice Speedway. All right, so my main conversation tonight, talking about photo finishes. Now, there was a ton of buzz on Facebook this past weekend about a 20,000 to win Sport Mod special. Farley Speedway had the super modified weekend, and there was a ton of buzz about that photo finish. And I wanted to talk a little bit about that in more detail. This car right here, that is Jake McBurney and Jared Bomeister. I believe that's how it's pronounced, Bomeister. This is the closing laps of the 20,000 to win show. Great race, as you can see here. In case you haven't seen it, and I think most everybody has, I don't want to spoil it there. McBurney with the advantage going down the backstretch. Bouwmeester, though, not done as they dive down into turn number 3. This is coming to, I believe, the checkered flag as they come off of turn number 4. A little bit of contact, beating and banging. Everybody keeps straight, but it is Bouwmeester with the $20,000 win when it's all said and done. But that wasn't the only photo finish that took place this past weekend, and I wanted to share some of those as well. Hobby stock feature at the Independence Motor Speedway had 5 drivers that were competing for the win, and you had Sean Kennan, he's the 35B, August Bach, the 4, the Benji Irvine Machines, number 79, Brett Vanas, and also Quentin Miller were a part of the mix. In fact, Vanas was the leader there. He was the middle, falls back in line there. Then Bach and the 4 machine slides up. Vanas thinking about trying to challenge, make it 3 wide again. Kennan powers on as they take the white flag. Bach in the 4 machine, he was the winner last week, trying to make it 2 in a row. They're side by side coming off of turn number 2. Kennan with a slight advantage down the backstretch. Bach not done. You can see Irvine jumping in back there as well, trying to challenge Vanas for the 3rd spot. And as they come off of turn number 4, checkers in the air, probably the closest finish I've seen at Independence. It was Kennan, and you can see not by much. Great photo finish there. Thank you to Speedway Souvenir for that photo. So Rapid Speedway, they had a great, this is the sportsman class that they had over there for their A main event. And you had 2 drivers vying for the win. I apologize for it being a little bit jerky. This is a YouTube live video, so sometimes when it uploads it, it loads it kind of rough. Brian Crone made a last lap pass. You can see him going to dive here off of turn number 4 underneath Bryant Clausen for the win. And it was a very tight finish as well. I mentioned earlier tonight that the storms kind of affected me prepping things. IMCA.TV, I was trying to get a video from them and edit it up. Unfortunately, because of the storms that had powered down, I wasn't able to get it. But I was able to get, thanks to IMCA.TV, some screen captures. This is the last lap of the Deary Brothers Summer Series race. I gave a mention to Daryl DeFrance, the Ironman of the series, as he was coming off of turn number 2. He's the car on the bottom there in the 99D, and 99 of Jesse Sobbing, trying to make him earn it. This is down the backstretch as they're about to enter turn number 3. Sobbing still trying to stop that tirade of 39 laps being led by DeFrance, and coming off of turn 4. It's a little blurry. I apologize about that. Again, just kind of rushed things in order to get this in here. But DeFrance, you can see, wins by a car length. Now, like I said, I saw a ton of social media posting about that 20,000 to win sport mod event, and a lot of there was a handful that said that was the reason why that was a great finish. Now, I'm not trying to knock big shows, because I love the big shows, but to be honest with you, it was only a very, very small portion of why that was a great finish. Now, when you increase the purse, you increase the potential of having better drivers, super caliber drivers. I mean, look at the modified class alone. You had drivers from all over the country coming in competing. So you increase your odds of potential drivers that can really put on a great show. But you still need a racy track, and you still need drivers that know how to shoe a car. And I wanted to point this out, not because I wanted, again, to diminish the 20,000 to win show, because I loved it. I thought it was great. But you don't have to have the big dollar show. A weekly show, as I pointed out, can generate just as an exciting of a finish. And my goal here is just to remind everybody of that weekly racing can be just as exciting. Don't forget about weekly racing. So my main conversation tonight, I wanted to talk a little bit about something that, an article I've been working on about chassis safety, and I'm still putting it together, but one thing that seems to be coming up an awful lot is about how some drivers are taking shortcuts, as I've been talking to chassis builders and sanctioning bodies about chassis and how they're built. And this particular item right here actually made me think about driver safety and of something in particular that one tech official told me. Now, Darlo Mulder, he's the USRA chief inspector, tech inspector, and he said, quote, let me read it right here. Some racers do not take the safety of their cars and equipment serious enough. I do believe that some drivers would not want the little advantage, but rather have a safer car. However, most drivers in this category don't care enough because they think it will never happen to them. Now, that statement rang true to me this past week while I was playing deck hockey and this particular piece of equipment that I wear. Now, follow along with my train of thought. It might not be what you think about racing, but eventually gets there. So bear with me as I talk about it. Now, I play deck hockey. It's kind of my effort to not be a hermit and be a workaholic and also try to pull myself away from the computer. And I'm not very good at it. I have a ton of fun. I'm not the worst player in the league, but I am far from the best player in the league. And I'm just like a rookie at a racetrack. Now, I'm new to the sport, and I'm still learning and sometimes make mistakes. Well, this past week, I ended up high-sticking a player in the face, and I got him pretty good, and I felt horrible about it. And it stopped the game, and he was injured, and you could tell he was mad about it, and rightfully so. And his crew, was chirping at me all game long about the high stick, and I felt horrible about it. So afterwards, just like a young driver, I think should at least go down and talk to the driver and own up to it, and that's what I tried to do. And a long story short, in the end, he did accept my apology. He obviously had a few choice words. Adrenaline fueled that, and I accepted that. I knew that was going to be the case. But he closed with, "You wear a mask. Some of us don't." That's when Mulder's phrase got thrown back in the back of my head again, because it will never happen to them. Popped in, and all of a sudden I started thinking about it. To be honest, I bought this helmet because my first season that I had this past fall, I had a couple of sticks end up in my face, and so I thought I need to protect myself a little bit. Not that I've got a big GQ mug here, but I don't need to make it any worse. So that's why I bought that, and so far I've already had a couple of sticks slapped up there, and this cage protected it. And so it's already paid for itself. That being said, it's still on me to become a better player. Just because I have this doesn't mean that I'm better than anybody else. I still have a lot to learn, and have to remember not everyone has those cages. And I'm taking this as a learning experience, and I'm taking it very seriously because I still feel horrible about the situation, but I can't go back and change it. I only can get better. Just like new drivers, that's the same perspective they have when they're on the track. They're going to be out there on the track, and they're going to make a bonehead move just like I did in the deck hockey game. They're going to dump somebody. They're going to run into somebody, and they're going to own it, hopefully, and they're going to learn from it. I wear a cage for a specific reason. I chose to wear the helmet. Not all the players chose to wear that mask. That's on them to decide on it. Just because you know it won't happen with your group doesn't mean you don't have people like me still trying to learn and make that boneheaded mistake. And again, apologize and learn, and I'll get better with it. That's my main conversation for tonight. And before I leave, I have a great Victory Lane picture that I wanted to share. This picture that I'm going to show you actually comes from Eric Elliott Racing. They posted this on Saturday night. And this is Aubrey Elliott with her flags, and the post read, "Future flag girl thinks she's going to flag daddy's race." You'll notice she has the checkered flag out. And by the way, Eric, I believe, did get the win this Saturday night. So she forecasted the win during the picture that she had that. I appreciate everyone who checked in for tonight with Dirt Track Speedway, and apologize it was a bit rough tonight because of the storms, and hopefully everyone is safe out there. Our next event for Dirt Track Speedway is going to be coming up Wednesday, May 24th at 9 p.m., and then also May 31st, 9 p.m. for the next edition of Dirt Track Speedway. Thanks for joining me tonight. I hope you had a great time. Share it and let your friends know. Talking about dirt track racing in Iowa. It's Dirt Track Speedway with me, Bucky Doren, presented by Fast Shafts by Axle Exchange.